Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel, and with Conquest starting back up here in a couple of days, let's talk about how you can get the max crate. Once again, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new to the channel, hit that like button while you're here and the subscribe button right now so you don't forget. It's free and your engagement helps out the channel a ton. So today we are going to set out a plan for how you can get the max crate in Conquest. Now, it's important to mention that this is going to be a plan. This isn't like a Hail Mary, you know, you're at the end, like there's one day left of Conquest and you still need like 300 key cards and you're like, how do I get max crate? That's not really what this video is intended for. This is going to assume that you do get some specific data discs along the way. You try to find some certain nodes if possible, still doable if you don't find those nodes, but these will make it substantially easier for some of these feats. And it is going to rely on you owning some characters. Now, most of them are going to be ones that most people have. And there are alternate solutions if you don't have all of these characters as well. They're not going to necessarily be covered in this video because I had the characters and I used the characters that I had, but I'm sure that there are videos out there for characters if you don't have the ones that I have. And if you did make it to this video because it's like the last day of Conquest and you're like, shit, I don't know what to do. Sorry, man. Good luck though. Maybe you'll find something in this video. I hope you do. All right, so on the last Conquest, I got the max crate. So let's talk about what feats I did not do. That's a lot easier than going through the list of the ones that I did. Now, before you hit the dislike button and quit and leave, yes, you are going to see that I did complete some of the Inquisitorious feats, but fear not, like my Inquisitorious units were like level 50 gear 4. Like, don't freak out. We can do the Inquisitorious feats with super garbage, not even leveled up abilities on your Inquisitorious units. The feats that I did not get were the global feat of winning 40 battles with a full squad of resistance units because I didn't need it. The Sector 3 boss of winning with Boba Fett, Scion of Django, surviving because I couldn't do it. I don't have him. In Sector 4, winning 14 battles with a full squad of Inquisitorious units, because again, I couldn't do it with the Inquisitorious units that I have, or if I could, I wasn't aware of it. Let me know down in the comments if there is a way for me to do it with the Inquisitorious units I'm going to share on the screen today. And then Sector 5, the mini boss of win with no Sith, Jedi, or Underline Force users in my squad because I didn't need it. I think I also had a few battles that I just didn't get 3 stars on, again, because I didn't necessarily need them. If I didn't list the feat in here, then assume that I did complete the feat, and it is either, in my opinion, relatively straightforward, so I won't cover it in this video, something that will be covered in this video, or it's just something I missed. And if it's something that I missed and you think that it merits a video, let me know down in the comments and I will do what I can to get that content created for you. All right, so as I told you, data discs are going to be incredibly important. So what data discs are you going to want to have? First off, you're going to want one volatile accelerator. I think the blue one. If you get the green one, I think that's going to be fine as well. If you get the white one, then I guess deal with the white one. Volatile accelerator is super nice. Just make sure you don't equip multiple because it does not stack. Amplify Agony. I did it with just one Amplify Agony. I mean, I think I may have gotten another one just because I did, but you probably only need one. If you want a second one, go for it. But I did it with just one Amplify Agony. Zealous Ambition is super nice. I think hopefully we've all realized by this point that Zealous Ambition is one of the most broken ones in the game, and it's super great. I did it. I got 2 of them. If you got 2 or 3, I think that's probably good. Don't get like 15 of them because you don't need that much, but I'd say 2 is a good number. If you've got like only the white ones, then maybe get like 3 of them. Let's talk about the granddaddy of them all, and that's going to be Deadly Catalyst, which you don't even have to worry about getting from one of the nodes because you get it for free from one of the global feats, and that global feat is actually pretty easy to get. Deadly Catalyst is going to carry you across this Conquest. It is one of my favorite discs, so we'll talk more about that later. Ruthless Swiftness and Ruthless Offense are also going to be very, very nice to have during Conquest because they are only 1 pip and they are super useful. Ruthless Swiftness is going to be, in my opinion, more helpful than Ruthless Offense because Ruthless Offense is baked into Deadly Catalyst, basically. Except Deadly Catalyst is, you know, better. Ruthless Swiftness is going to be key for a lot of things, and I would almost at all times have 2 of them equipped because it's just going to give you so much turn meter. Ruthless Swiftness plus Deadly Catalyst. Deadly Catalyst is going to immediately activate Ruthless Swiftness, and it's just going to give you so much turn meter. So Ruthless Swiftness is going to be basically required to have almost at all times during this Conquest, in my opinion. I would get 2 or 3 of those, and then maybe 1 of Ruthless Offense, maybe 2 if you have the opportunity and you have everything else. But again, Ruthless Offense is going to be baked into Deadly Catalyst, which in my opinion is a little bit better. The last 3 are kind of nice to have. You don't have to have them, but they do make it nice for a few of the feats, and that's going to be the Unstable Decelerator and the Decay Critical Turn Meter. It's nice to be able, especially when you're using Volatile Accelerator, which is giving turn meter to the other team, it's nice to have something that pulls the turn meter back as well. And then finally, I'll throw Perseverance on there. Perseverance is nice to have. You don't need it for any of these feats by any stretch of the imagination, but if you have it, you know, cool. Now, that's not to say these are the only feats you should get. Obviously, if you get to one of the nodes and none of these are listed there, get whichever one you think is best or you think is the most fun. I mean, Conquest is hella grindy. Let's be super honest, but we also want to have fun with it at some point, right? So get some that you think are fun as well, if none of these are there, if you already have some of these. It's also important to mention that you are going to need to swap discs. Don't be that cheap. Yes, if you notice, yes, I do have the Conquest Pass that lets me swap out my discs for free. I know it's worth it to me just to have that level of freedom because it's fun to play with discs, and it's just, to me, it's worth the $30 just to be able to do it. I'm not saying that you have to, but don't drop battles because you were too cheap to change out the disc, and you're going to end up wasting more energy by dropping those battles and maybe not getting the hits. Now, with that being said, let's talk about what characters are going to be important and what I'm going to really heavily rely on for this conquest. Number one, the granddaddy of them all. Let's see if I can find like this like sound effect. If I can, I'm gonna play it right now. Wat Tambor, because Wat Tambor is going to be massive. And what's really nice, he is going to be super important for a lot of these feats. And for a lot of the feats that he's important for, his stamina is not actually going to be affected because you're not going to be winning those battles. And if the stamina is important, then it's going to be fine because he's going to work at 1% because he takes a turn first anyways. After Wat Tambor, we're going to have Maul, not Darth Maul, the Conquest reward Maul, and Canderous. Now, I know a lot of people may not have Maul because he is a Conquest reward. If you don't, that's fine. We do have an alternate solution for you, but Maul and Canderous are super nice, and you do not need Canderous to be at any crazy level of gear. You just need him at, like, I don't know, have him, I guess. Now, if you do not have Maul and Canderous, a good substitution is going to be Beskar Mando with Han and Chewie. That combo is super nice. It's going to work very well and basically replace the Wat Tambor plus Maul and Canderous. If you have all of those characters, then congratulations, you have a one-way ticket to getting a lot of battles very easily won. You'll love to see it. Next up, I have SLKR. I don't have Rey, so I rely very heavily on SLKR plus the First Order characters. If you have Rey, then just flip that out with Rey and the Resistance characters. Next up, important characters 50RT, BB-8, and R2-D2. 50RT does not have to have an Omicron, does not have to be at high gear, none of that. Just need to have them and have them in the squad because their leader bonus is going to give speed to the rest of the team. Similar with BB-8, no Zetas required, no high gear, just need to have them to give turn meter to the rest of the team. R2-D2 is the one that you're gonna want to have strong, which a lot of people do because he's required for Jedi Knight Luke. Is it Jedi Knight Luke? I think it's Jedi Knight Luke. R2 is going to be your main damage dealer because he's a support, so Zealous Ambition plus Deadly Catalyst mean he is going to be just a machine. See what I did there? You are also going to need to have Resistance Hero Poe and Resistance Hero Finn because that's how you're going to be able to spread around Inspired. So they're going to be really important. After that, most of the characters are just like nice to have, but not required. Like Thrawn, First Order Officer, can pass around a lot of turn meter. Trey can reduce cooldowns. Cat can just spam Armor Shred all the time. There are going to be a lot of nice to have characters. We'll talk about those, and we will also talk about some alternatives that you can use as well. All right, so now let's talk about the plan. What do you need to do? What should you be focusing on as soon as you start up your conquest? The first thing that you are going to want to do, and I cannot stress how important these two discs are, is get the Amplify Agony and Volatile Accelerator discs as fast as possible. Now, obviously, I say as fast as possible, meaning like get them whenever you can. Like, obviously, if they don't show up, that super sucks. But like, if they're there, get them so you have them. The reason why I stress that that is so important is because that is going to enable you to do step 2 of the plan, which is to win 20 battles with Kylo Ren Unmasked and Veteran Han surviving. Now, I have this as step 2 of the plan for 2 reasons. 1, it's really, really easy to do once you get Volatile Accelerator and Amplify Agony. And 2, you actually don't have to worry about stamina at all for this feat. So it's feasible to do this in one day. Because here's the thing, as I'm showing with the gameplay, you can do this with 1%, yes, 1% stamina on the entire team, whichever team you decide to do. And that's super freaking broken, and that's so nice. And I would encourage you to do it at 1% stamina once you get down to that level. I mean, think about it. You use 10% stamina every time you do a battle. So if you let your stamina go back up to 10%, you have just wasted potentially 10 battles you could have done. Just do a battle every time you hit 1% stamina, and you'll get that done so fast. Really, that's a big part of Conquest, is anytime you can find a trick where you can win a battle at 1% stamina, you can crank out those feats super fast, and then you don't have to worry about them anymore. And it's super nice for the one with Crew and Vet Han, because then you get Deadly Catalyst, and that is going to help carry you through the rest of the Conquest. Now, the plan of attack for getting this feat is you're going to use Maul, Canderous, Wat Tambor, Kylo Ren Unmasked, and Veteran Han. You are going to need a Volatile Accelerator, and you are going to need an Amplify Agony. A couple Amplify Agonies here would be nice, but it's not necessarily required. Again, you can also use, Deadly Catalyst, Ruthless Swiftness. Zealous Ambition's not going to do anything for you here. The idea behind this and why this works is because it basically recreates the initial Frenzy tech. You have Maul starting off with Frenzy, and then you have Wat Tambor triggering the Frenzy at the very beginning of the battle. The gameplay I'm showing is from the Sector 4 Datacron node, however, you can do this on most nodes. Obviously, do note, this isn't going to work against absolutely everybody. Something like Imperial Troopers, where they're going to keep reviving, obviously this is not going to work. Teams like Padme, where it's going to beef them up because of attacks out of turn, are going to not work as well. So I say this works really well, but, think about it before you do it. The idea behind this is you're just going to use Maul's second special and just hit a different person every time. If you can kill them off, great. If you don't worry, the dots are going to do the rest. You're going to inflict so many dots on the other team that it's just not going to matter. And whenever they go to take a turn, they're just going to die. And that's why stamina doesn't matter. It's not your actual characters doing any of the damage. It's all coming from the dots. That's why you are able to do this. At 1% stamina, this still works. Now, suppose you do not have Maul, you can also do a very similar trick by having the Mandalorian Beskar armor in the leader slot with Han, Chewie, and then Vet Han and Kylo Ren Unmasked. Again, same data disk setup. I would make sure you have Ruthless Swiftness in there, and then it's going to be kind of the same idea. Han's going to shoot first, which is kind of like the idea of an initial Frenzy tech, kind of. The reason why this works is because of the Mandalorian Beskar armor's leader ability that whenever someone takes damage, all of your scoundrel allies, aka Mando and Han and Chewie, are going to gain turn meter. And let me tell you something, with all the dots and Amplify Agony and Volatile Accelerator, they're going to be taking a lot of damage, and you're going to just always have turn meter. So once again, it's just spread the love, deal damage, let the dots take care of it. I'm not as confident at this one at like 1% turn meter, but I feel like it's also like pretty reliable as well. It's a favorite of my guild to use Mando, Han, and Chewie. I prefer the Maul one myself, but I think both will work just fine. An honorable mention that I will pick is to use Jedi Knight Luke in the lead with Jedi Master Luke or a really, really fast Jedi, and then one other person, because you get out the gate with Heroes Arise, you reduce the speed of everyone, which takes away that over-prepared benefit, you stun them, and then you just win. The reason why this is an honorable mention is because it does rely on stamina. As your Jedi lose stamina, you're going to lose the ability to go first, and then you run the risk of Han or Kylo Ren Unmasked surviving. This obviously would not work at 1% turn meter, especially because Jedi Knight Luke's leader ability quits working at, I think, 20% stamina in Conquest. Hey, Future Chad here, and I thought it was important to mention that this also works really well for triggering the War of Attrition feat as well. If you use this same comp, or if you just use Mandalorians because you don't need Crew and Vet Han in there anymore, whenever you get all these dots, especially because if people haven't died yet, whenever Wat Tambor uses that second special and activates all of those dots, those are all going to trigger the War of Attrition data disk, which is going to remove turn meter. Even if they die, it still removes the turn meter before they die, and it's going to activate that feat. Not that that's an abundantly hard feat to get, but still, it's an easy and convenient way to do it pretty quickly. I think I did it in like 2 or 3 tries while I was just farming Datacron materials, so cheers. Now, after you have Deadly Catalyst, that is truly going to carry you through most of the rest of Conquest. And to that note, I'm not going to talk about every single feat in Conquest because some of these like gain defense up, attempt to inflict ability block, like those are ones that you probably know how to do and can figure out and do along your Conquest path. They're not really necessarily worthy, in my opinion, of a place in this video. However, if you disagree, let me know. And again, I'll either put a comment down here and pin it with a strategy, or I'll make a new video on it. We'll see. But let me know down in the comments if you think that some of these things that I'm assuming are straightforward are not to you. Now, the next thing, part 3 of this plan, is don't waste attempts on some of the feats that you're going to want to do later in Conquest, like at the end of Conquest. And those are mostly going to be the ones where it's defeat 50 enemies with insert faction name here. Now, obviously, the caveat is do those as you're going along if you can do it and not have to worry about stamina or not have to worry about dropping like people during your battle. But we do have some really cool tricks to allow you to get those 50 kills pretty easily. So if you don't have to worry about them, don't, because remember, you don't have to 3-star, you just have to get kills. You don't even have to win the battle for those to count. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, but only get those if you're relatively confident you can win and you don't really need to worry about banners, or you're like practicing on one of the end nodes that just give you the datacron materials. These feats that I wouldn't worry about right now are going to be defeat 50 enemies with droid units, defeat 50 enemies with resistance units. Again, unless you have like Rey, and for the last one, unless you have really, really good General Grievous droids, you don't need to worry about. Attempt to inflict Purge 300 times. Defeat 50 enemies with Inquisitorious units, unless you have like just god tier Inquisitorious units, which in case you do, hi. I'm kidding. You do you. This is a hero collector game. If you love the Inquisitors, just do your thing. No. Gain secret intel 80 times. Defeat 50 enemies with first order units. This, again, unless you have SLKR, and this is easy for you. Gain inspired 40 times and inflict blind 40 times. Now for these next two I'm going to mention, again, 3.2, I think, on the plan is going to be 2 feats in particular, and you're going to want to do these on specific nodes. The first one is win 14 battles with a full squad of non-separatist droids. Again, just a little bit later, we will talk specifically about how to actually do this feat, but I would recommend you look for an easy, low, over-prepared squad like Geonosians at the beginning of the sector. Don't go to like an over-prepared 3 team and just get absolutely walloped. Like, try to pick your battle on this one and pick the easiest team that you can possibly find. For me, that was Geos. Also, attempt to inflict armor shred. This one you don't have to worry about. Just do the mini boss. We'll talk about the strategy a little bit later, but do that one on the mini boss. Don't waste like stamina or lose attempts going through the sector trying to get armor shred, because you can get that on the mini boss. We'll talk about that just a little bit later. All right, we have arrived at the spot that you guys have probably been waiting for, and you probably just skipped to right now, which is our plan for the quote-unquote tough feats. Now, before we get on to the strategy for all of these, it's important to mention that if you're still here and you're still watching the video, go ahead and hit that like button. If you've made it this far along, you probably like the video, right? So go ahead and hit that like button. It's free, and your engagement really does help out the channel. Also, make sure to go ahead and comment down below. Do any of these ideas help you? Do you have any other ideas that you use that I haven't mentioned in this video? Please make sure to mention those too, because that only helps everyone else in the community. If you can't think of anything to say, just go down there and drop your favorite emoji. Again, your engagement is free and it really helps out the channel. Also, if you're on this channel because you like Galaxy of Heroes and you like Star Wars, you might like some of the other content I have on this channel. Well, if you look up here, I do have a lot of other content on Star Wars, especially KOTOR, so go check those out. You can also check it over here. I do stream Galaxy of Heroes once in a while. I do have some of my old previous Grand Arena streams you can go check out and watch me get destroyed. I make some highlight videos. There's also just a lot of other content on the channel, so go check some of that stuff out, and you know, hopefully I see you around on more videos. All right, so let's talk about the first feat, which is going to be non-separatist droids. For me, the lineup I used is 5ORT, R2-D2, HK-47, 3PO and Chewie, and BB-8. For data discs, I would recommend 2 Zealous Ambitions or just 1. Some Deadly Catalyst. Then after that, you know, you can do some Volatile Accelerator, some Amplify Agony. After that, I don't know that it matters as much, but Zealous Ambition and Deadly Catalyst are going to be very important. The only other thing is you're going to want to make R2-D2 as fast as physically possible. With 5ORT in the lead, plus BB-8, plus a fast R2, you should have R2 able to get out the gate very quickly and then just burn everyone. You're going to pass around turn meter to everyone, and then you should be able to win pretty easily because R2-D2 should be dealing a crap ton of damage. I mean, that's really it. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to do this all at once because stamina is going to be a factor for this team, so you're going to have to do this one kind of over the course of Conquest, but it's not too terribly bad to actually do, which is the good thing. Next one up, let's talk about how to get the Armor Shred sector feat. Now for this, I used Jedi Master Kenobi, Cat, General Kenobi, 3PO, and Padme. If you have these characters, if you don't, there are alternatives. We'll talk about them in just a second, but this is a very easy lineup. You can get all 20 Armor Shreds in just one battle. And this all relies on the fact that on the mini boss, Ben Solo can't die while his allies are still alive. The reason why I chose JMK is there's just a crap ton of survivability on that team. He can reset the cooldowns on Cat's Annihilate, which is going to let you just keep spamming Armor Shred. My biggest thing to recommend is avoid adding someone in there like Gas. Even if you need the Armor Shred, I would not use Gas unless you absolutely have to, because his AoE is going to wipe out the other people and you're probably going to win that fight. I would also not recommend using like the first special on General Kenobi or having someone in there like 5s. Anyone that's going to do Retribution, because then you are going to end up inadvertently killing the other people on the team and then probably winning far too early. Now, if you do not have Jedi Master Kenobi or Cat, you still need to do this feat. I did not do these, but what my next idea would be is to do something like Imperial Troopers, or you could do something where you use like Traya, Thrawn, First Order Officer, and then, you know, one of the Armor Shred characters and just pass around turn meter, reduce cooldowns on the Armor Shred, just keep pumping it out. You know, you have like Armor, you have Sabine, you have Moff Gideon. There's a lot of people that can do Armor Shred. Just pick one of them. Again, I would stay away from Gas if possible, because Gas will AoE and can potentially kill off the rest of the team, and then you'll have to do it again and waste energy. If you got Cat though, do it that way, because that's a real fast way to do it. All right, the next feats, all of the rest of the feats we're going to talk about are all going to involve using an initial frenzy tech and Wat Tambor. So this is very, very important. Listen to me. No, come closer. Listen to me. Do not win these battles. If you're afraid you're going to win them, do them while in airplane mode, because don't waste your initial frenzy tech. You are not going to win these battles. You are just going to get enough kills and then let the battle time out. You do not want to win. And on that note, also get an initial frenzy tech. You will need an initial frenzy tech to do these things. Get one. For the secret intel feat, I used Thrawn lead, Hux, First Order Officer, Wat, and BB-8. Initial frenzy tech out the gate. Wat's gonna get the team going, taking all of the turns. Make sure you get the turn over to BB-8 as fast as you can, because you want BB-8 to give the secret intel. Once that starts, then just start passing turn meter and taking lots of turns and using special abilities to get yourself more secret intel. You should be able to complete that feat relatively quickly. For Inflict Purge, this is one you are going to want to find an Old Republic with Enfys Nest node. Very important. Do not use Deadly Catalyst during this. I had Deadly Catalyst on while I was recording gameplay for this video, and I inadvertently killed Enfys Nest because Deadly Catalyst bypasses protection and protection up. You're going to want to use Wat Tambor, Emperor Palpatine as the lead, and then the 3 Inquisitorious sisters. Your plan is going to be Wat Tambor is going to start off the initial frenzy tech by giving some of the tech to someone, and then you're going to kill off everyone other than Nest. Do whatever you can to stun Nest, and then basically just auto basic. The good news is you don't actually have to inflict Purge. You just have to attempt to inflict Purge. So as long as Nest has fewer than 6 stacks of Purge, you can auto basic, and every one of those resisted is still going to count towards your 300. Personally, what I did is just kept an eye on where her count of Purge was, and if it got up to 5 or 6, then I'd take it off auto, do one of the special abilities that removes Purge, and then just basic auto again. Honestly, it's not a bad idea to take some potency off of your Inquisitorious units so that they are actually easily resisted. All right, let's talk about defeating 50 people with Inquisitorious units. This one, a lot of people are probably really afraid of. It's actually not too terribly bad. You're just going to have to do several battles. I would suggest you look for either a Bounty Hunter node, an Imperial Trooper node, or if you have to, go after Geonosians, but that's kind of not ideal. The reason being because they die and revive a lot if you have like Jango and Boba, or the Imperial Troopers are going to revive, what, 3 times? The important thing with this is do not give the weapon tech to any of your characters, because you don't want to prevent any revives like on the Bounty Hunters. The character has Bounty Hunters resolve and you kill them with someone that has the weapon tech, they will not come back and you've just lost out on a kill. Basically, the idea is give tech to someone, have Palpatine stun whoever he can. Because of Deadly Catalyst, you should gain a lot of offense. And with Volatile Accelerator and Amplify Agony, you should be able to kill off most of the people on the other team. Plus, you're going to be gaining a lot of turn meter, so even though you're not dealing a ton of damage, like you should be able to do it, because they won't take turns, even though they're going to have a lot of dots, and usually like Amplify Agony is bad for getting kills with units because they die to the dots. That shouldn't happen here because they're not going to take any turns because you are going to be gaining so much turn meter. Make sure to have Ruthless Swiftness for this battle because that's what's going to enable you to get a crap ton of turn meter as soon as you start to deal damage to people who may not be below 100% health. Inflict Blind, honestly, all I did here, this one, there's not a lot going on. You actually don't even need the initial frenzy tech and Wat Tambor, and that's just throw a CLS team up against Imperial Trooper team and have fun. I just gave as much translation over to C-3PO and Chewie as I could and just kept spamming that first special as often as I could. The reason why Imperial Troopers is because they keep reviving, so you keep having hopefully a squad of 5 out there to get, you know, maybe 10 blinds in one turn, maybe even like 15 in one battle. So hopefully if you find an Imperial Trooper team, you can get the 40 blinds in like 2 to 3 battles. For gaining Inspired, you can do this with or without Wat Tambor and the initial frenzy tech. It's really up to you, and it kind of depends on how good your resistance is. But just remember that you are going to want a resistance squad. You're going to need Resistance Hero Poe, Resistance Hero Finn, a couple other resistance tunes, and Inspired gets spread by Finn using a special ability over on Poe, and then Poe using a special on literally anyone else, and they will become Inspired. Just rinse and repeat. Keep passing Inspired along, and then once again, don't win. Like, you don't have to win for the Inspired to count. So to save stamina, save this until later, and then just let the battle time out, and then just do it again. One more feat that I want to mention that you can use the initial frenzy tech plus Wat Tambor for, although you truly don't need to, is to do the health steal up 20 times. This one for me was actually really, really easy. I think I got this in just straight up one battle, and I used Emperor Palpatine and Visa's Mar. Between the two of them, Palpatine has his second special, which is going to grant health steal up to everyone on the team. And then Visas Mars first special will also grant health steal up to the entire team. So at bare minimum, you likely can do that in just 2 battles. In addition, they're both supports or healers. So with Zealous Ambition plus Deadly Catalyst plus Ruthless Swiftness, you can probably win those too. Like there's not really a need for the initial frenzy attack and Wat Tambor, but I mean, you can do it if like maybe you have a low Visas Mar, you want to, cheese it a little bit. That's an option too, but that's a really easy comp to just get 20 health steal up. I'm sure there are other options too. Let everyone know down in the comments what the best comp is in your opinion for getting health steal up 20 times. A bonus feat that I wasn't going to talk about, but I feel like I should, is winning 40 battles with a full squad of First Order. And this one actually is really easy if you have Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. Your lineup is going to be Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, First Order Stormtrooper, Sith Trooper, General Hux, and then I used original Kylo Ren, not the unmasked variant. The reason why I didn't use the unmasked variant is because he's needed for so many other feats, so I figured let's not waste his stamina if we don't need to. The reason why I feel this one's worth mentioning is because this is another one where you can do it with 1% stamina, and where I did it was up against the Night Sister node. The Night Sister node that is the Datacron node is what I'm talking about. The reason why this is super nice is because the Night Sister spirit is going to always start off and is always going to go after your First Order Stormtrooper because he's going to have the pre-taunt thanks to General Hux. As your stamina goes down, it's very likely that that is going to kill him on the first turn. That's going to trigger the bonus turn on Sith Trooper. Sith Trooper uses an AoE, and then thanks to Deadly Catalyst plus Ruthless Swiftness, you're basically going to just gain a crap ton of turn meter and then just go to town. Even at low stamina, it doesn't matter because of all of the extra damage you're going to get from Deadly Catalyst. It also doesn't even matter because yes, I know that as you gain turn meter, you're going to lose max health. It doesn't matter because you're going to do so many crits that by the time that you might have to worry about health, unlike Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, he's gonna have his ultimate. So he can go into ultimate and then they can't kill him and then he can just kill everyone else and prevent revives. This is another one, again, as I said, anytime that you can get a feat at 1% stamina and you can do it really, really quickly, that's super nice and I felt it was worthwhile to share. Hey, it's Future Chat again, and there were a couple of more feats that I wasn't going to mention, but I felt like deserved an honorable mention. I feel like most people probably have it down on how to do these, but a couple more I want to talk about are winning 14 battles with no tanks in your squad and winning 14 battles with no attackers in your squad. I'm not going to go over winning 14 with a full squad of light side units because I feel like most people have full squads of light side units. I feel like you can probably figure that one out on your own. To win a battle with no tanks, I feel like, again, you probably have that one figured out. There are a lot of really great just attacker-based teams like Imperial Troopers, most of your Galactic Legends other than Jedi Master Luke. CLS is another great one. I feel like really any of those attacker-heavy groups with Ruthless Swiftness and maybe some Deadly Catalyst, I feel like you're gonna be good on that. So I'll put a few, on the side that I think are good, but other than that, I feel like you've probably got that one down. For winning with no attackers in your squad, I feel like that one's actually pretty easy. It just relies on using Zealous Ambition. There are a ton of great support characters and healer characters that can just with one AoE wipe an entire team off the board. The Galactic Republic has a great number of really great supports and healers. Echo, Padme, Grandmaster Yoda are a few to mention. Dash Rendar is really great. His AoE can wipe entire teams. Visas Mar, with her heal, can actually wipe entire teams sometimes. Palpatine is a good alternative, and Jedi Master Luke is also a good Galactic Legend alternative because he's a tank, he is not an attacker. I feel like if you're struggling with this one, just make sure you have Zealous Ambition in there, Ruthless Swiftness, and then the Galactic Republic is really like your home, but then if you need some others, you've got some Scoundrels that really work well for you, and there are some Empire and some other allies in there as well that can really do you good there. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. That's going to be the end of our Conquest guide. If there's anything that I left out, if there are any other feats that you guys feel like you need help on, let me know down in the comments and I will make a video if I can. If it's any of those feats that I said I didn't do, well, I didn't do them. The Resistance, the full squad of Resistance you can do. It's one I just didn't because I didn't have to. I got to like 22 and I was like, this is really stupid. I'm not going to do this one. I did that with just like a full squad of Resistance, Gear 12, plus like my Relic 7 Jedi Training Ray up against the First Sector Bounty Hunter Datacron node. You can do it if you want to. It's not super fun. Guys, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed this, please drop a like. It makes me feel good to know that I've provided you guys with some sort of value, and leave a comment down below on what helped you. If you have any other tips that you want to share with other players, I'm sure everyone would be happy to hear anyone else's advice. It's always welcome. If you don't have anything else to add, go ahead and just throw down, again, your favorite emoji. Your engagement is free and it really does help out this channel. Guys, thanks so much, and hopefully we'll see you around in another video. Have a great rest of your day and good luck at Conquest.